What is the worst thing you have found on someone else's phone? Videos of my then husband descending into madness. He had gotten a traumatic brain injury, after which he took loads of videos of him going crazy. Last one, he was covered in vomit arguing with his reflection and had no idea it was him. 100% do not suggest watching someone you love like that. Trauma. I went through something similar with my ex-wife. Not sure it was due to a traumatic brain injury, TBI, but it probably was. She did have a bad head injury from a fall out of a tree and a hospitalization for it as a teenager long before I met her. The first half of our decade of marriage she was sweet, loving, rational. The second half I watched her fall into a clique of crazy conspiracy groups online and eventually isolating herself from a lot of our friends and eventually me. After seeing some of the videos she posted just before and after our divorce, I just didn't even recognize her anymore. Her last video was her filming a confrontation she had with the police because she was constantly filming people in her apartment swimming pool as part of some weird conspiracy idea. It is terrible to watch someone you were fully in love with turn into someone you don't even recognize and be powerless to stop it. I feel like my wife was stolen from me. 5 years later I still haven't even thought about being in a serious relationship again. Don't know how long it has been for you, but I hope you are doing better. Not me, but a bartender friend of mine found a phone unlocked on the bar and couldn't locate its owner, so he punched in his own phone number and found out he was already in the contacts as Creepy J. Did this once, used a friend's phone to call mine so I could locate it. My number was saved under no talkie. My ex-wife's. Found a recipe for potato salad with raisins in it. I found out my wife is dying after I read messages exchanged between her and her sister. I guess she was too afraid to tell me just yet. I waited till she wanted to tell me on her own before I told her that I had seen the messages and had already known. I was 15. Found messages on my mother's phone about her failed suicide attempts and how she never wanted her kids to know about them. Didn't speak a word about what I saw, internalized the fear. She successfully took her life less than a year later. My ex-wife's iTunes on her iPhone was actually my account that I set up for my iPad. She was just too lazy to set up a new account. So I told her if she did that her iMessages would come through to my iPad. She said she didn't care until she started cheating on me and I got the texts directly to my iPad. Hanging out with a work friend after work. We would have a couple beers at this restaurant and he would scroll Tinder and I would help him decide on which way to swipe. Until we saw my wife, now ex-wife. That was not a great time. My dad died about a year and a half ago in a car accident. I went through his phone after he passed. And he had taken pictures of the bay near where he grew up the morning of his accident, and he had a half-written text message to me making plans to see me for Christmas. It's not like those things are shocking or awful in the way CP or whatever is, but it's shocking and awful in a way that it's a view into a life cut short. It was 2 days before Christmas, and he was reminiscing about his childhood and planning with his children, and it all just ended in the blink of an eye. It guts me every time I think about it. After my dad died I had to go on his computer and get all the financial info from my mom. I saw he had downloaded Fortnite onto the desktop recently. He probably wanted to play it with me, but his computer wasn't powerful enough. I cried so hard. Sorry for your loss. If it helps at all, your post inspired me to play tonight with my son. He's 11 and it's been a rough go lately. He's going through the whole rebel phase, but hasn't actually hit puberty like a lot of his friends. He's withdrawn a little and we haven't spent as much time together despite the opportunity. I'm making popcorn, our top choice of snack, and we have the room set up with Fortnite on the Xbox, Bloons TD6 on his tablet, and some of his Friday Night Funkin' mods on his laptop. My nudes that I did not send to them. CPE. He's in jail now. I found I love you texts on my mom's phone to my boyfriend's dad while my parents were still together. Edit for context. My boyfriend and I have been together since 2017. This whole ordeal happened 2020. My boyfriend and I are waiting it out until we move out of town lol. I did confront my mom, and she told me to keep it a secret until after she got back from camping. Camping spot was 10 minutes away from boyfriend's dad's house by the way, they separated shortly after. But then my mom and my boyfriend's dad moved in together while my dad, boyfriend and I were all living in the same house. Plot twist, she thought it was your boyfriend's number. Counter plot twist. She thought it was your dad's number. An old friend of mine called me frantically requesting I come to his house because he needed a witness. He feared his then wife was about to call cops and accuse him of domestic violence. I could hear her in the background screaming "Oh Zayd, don't believe him." I don't live close, but I was concerned and drove over. They live in a cul-de-sac and I could hear the screaming before I got in the door. When I opened the door, he was at the top of the stairs trying to explain she is crazy. She was trying to explain that my friend is a pervert. So, of course my immediate thought was he must have been caught f***ing around. Well, to my shock and disappointment, she managed to yank the phone from him and she immediately started scrolling to pictures. She had to show me to convince me that my buddy I have known for over a decade is a pervert. She showed a dick pic. I was like, gross but okay. He started yelling, that isn't me. Which made me even more uncomfortable because now my buddy is admitting to receiving dick pics. No. He had taken the picture and had sent it to his wife's coworker's daughter. She was 12. I had always believed that had I ever confronted a child predator that I would fuck him up. I didn't, instead I made sure his wife was able to call the cops without him trying to stop her. The end.